Welcome to session number 4 of the Parenting That Works parenting component. Hopefully you've already made a list of your children's friends and all your children's friends' contact information, their parents' name, phone numbers, addresses, and hopefully you've looked at making that list, those two lists, the list of everything that you expect, your reasonable expectations, and the list of everything that your kid enjoys. As a reminder, as we have conversations with our children about behaviors, remember to tell your child how you feel. I love you, I care about you. Reestablish those rules. The rule is this. Provide active supervision. This is how I'm going to help you follow those rules. Be consistent with your consequences. Consistently follow through with them. And then think about other ways that we may help them ensure success, whether that be spot checks or whether that be counseling or other services or other people in that child's life that may be able to help you mentor him or channel him. Sometimes when we have those lists that we talked about, I'll take yours. If you take mine, I'll give you yours if you give me mine. Sometimes the list doesn't work. The kids are a little bit more, they're strong-willed, and they're trying to resist. We want you to consider an extended list. We don't normally put these on the first list, but it's called the extended list, and it may include something like hairspray, makeup. It's not child neglect not to provide these things. Favorite clothes. We have to provide our children clothes. They don't have to be their favorite clothes or brands. Junk food could be on that list. These extended lists are only for kids who have really out of control behaviors, and we only use the extended list after everything else has failed. We use it in addition to the child's regular list, not in place of it. And I really recommend at this point you really start reaching out to some type of mental health professional as well. Expand your support team, because we want to make sure that there's no other issues going on in your child's life that you need to know about. Regardless, we stick to the list. And even on your child's first list, I remember there was one parent that tried the list item and the list, and this parent complained to me that it didn't work. And I talked with the parent, and I said, well, what does your child do when your child gets home? And she told me this one activity. I said, well, wait a minute, your child can't do that. That's on the list. That hobby is on the list. But he loves it too much. I couldn't take that away from him. But that'll be the one thing, just like you have your nuclear buttons, he has his. That's going to be that one thing that he's got to have. So if you take that, again, you can't control him, but you can control that thing. You can influence that thing. You can control that thing which will influence him. That's going to fix it. And it fits it without having to go to the extended list. But the extended list is there if you need it. But again, I would start reaching out to mental health professionals and so forth like that if you get there. If you refuse to give up, everything is possible. Now, sometimes we've had some kids retaliate, just like you take their things. We've had some kids take the parents' stuff. And that, again, that's where you get back on your, you have to consistently follow that list. Until I get my stuff back, the list is there. Take as much time as you need. And really at that point you have to out-stubborn your child. Again, I'd be reaching out to mental health professionals. We talked a little bit earlier about dealing with threats of running away, threats of suicide. When a child runs away, call the police. Call the friend's parents. You should have their number by now. Contact the school. A lot of times when kids run away from home, they're still showing up at school. And this may sound extreme, but consider removing all your child's possessions from your home. There have been several parents that have not done this, and the child who runs away actually comes home during the day while the parents at work, takes a shower, finds something to eat, watches TV, all this stuff, and conveniently is gone when the parent gets home from work. And when you allow this to happen, what basically is happening is we're enabling that child to continue doing exactly what he wants to do on his terms. There's one great example of a child who was doing this, and all of a sudden he called his dad at work, "Hey, wait a minute, there's no food here." And your dad's like, "Right, I've removed all the food." "Well, what am I going to do for lunch?" And this child wasn't going to school, and the dad's like, "Well, I left your lunch money with your assistant principal at school. Leave now, you should get there in time." It's being a little creative, but consider removing the possessions. Yeah, I've had some parents, or I've heard of some parents that would literally leave a plate of food in the refrigerator for their child. Well, as long as we do that, the child, there's no motivation for the child to change the setup he's got. He's able to do what he wants, when he wants, how he wants, and we actually encourage him to do that by making it so readily available to him. So like I said, take those threats serious. If the child take runaway threats serious, follow that course of action, call the police, get a police report, insist they give you a report number. You might have to wait a certain amount of time, but get that report number. Call friends' parents. If you have a friend's parent who is not compliant, you may want to even try to get law enforcement involved in that. That sometimes provides the correct motivation. Again, be in contact with your child's school and consider removing your child's possessions temporarily. Threats of suicide, again, we take every one of those serious. Every time a child makes a threat to commit suicide, we need to get this child a professional to talk to, whether that be a mental health counselor, someone in the hospital emergency room. We want them connected with somebody that they can that they can get help from. If it's an idle threat, they're going to get tired of. Again, they're going to get tired of they're going to get tired of the attention. If it's a serious threat, we have them where they need to be for their safety. One of the things that's really hard for parents is when kids get violent. We live most of our life trying not to get the police involved in our lives. But if your child gets violent, you need to call the police. You need to start documenting a paper trail of this behavior, because if we have to get the courts involved, it's great to have that paper trail, and it's a safety issue. And it also is a consequence for your kid or your child if they choose violence as an answer. We've got to keep your child safe. We need to keep you safe as well. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in session number 5.